Well, it's been an eventful week. Welcome back to People with Silver's Wizarding World. Okay. I went to a fireworks display because it was Guy Fawkes on November the 5th, who went on Sunday, so that's the 7th. Took the little one, which was fun, and the highlight of the evening was they played the Weasley tune to the fireworks. So that was like the bit where Umbridge is doing the exams, and then the Weasleys come along and destroy the whole thing. They played that tune. Kind of made my night. So that is now the best fireworks display I've had to ever, by default. Here's a little recreation. Okay, so now it is time for the news. 2.19. Well, it finally happened, didn't it? We've got the Adventure Sync fix, finally. The Spell Energy Gift fix as well. And that's... Oh, well, there's another one for app crashing after a player collects too many achievements at a time. I didn't know that one actually existed. But apparently it does. And that was it. So nothing too major. But Adventure Sync being the main one. So it's kind of what we really care about the most. Oh, and then we had the Lethal Adversaries launch. So new feature with new bugs. You would have thought with all the time they spent testing this feature, it wouldn't crash so much, but it does. So the number one that's throwing people out is if you attempt to cast the maximum attack and they dodge, then you'll be able to cast it again. Unfortunately, I don't think you should be able to cast it again because in the background it gets used up. So when you do attempt to cast it again, it goes below 0. It causes a crash. So the only way to do this or deal with this is count in your head it charging up in the background again. And of course, it being a complex mechanic, it's not particularly easy. So the maximum attack for the first foe requires 8 charges, and then it's 10, 10, and then 12. So depends on which foe you're on. And also you get 2 charges for attack, 1 for a Protego. Potions normally 1, unless it's a strong exterminator where it's 2, or a potent where it's 3. Witch sharpening is also 2. So best take it in your head. If you want to keep it simple and you lose count, for the safety's sake, just count to 12 attacks or actions. Potions 1, attack 1, defend 1. And that's the easy way to do it without making sure you cock up. Just count to 12. You're bound not to screw it up. But if you have a better memory, after a while I managed to memorize it much better. So I can now kind of count a bit more accurately. So yes, yet another bug. We have informed Lola. We first sort of... Dave on the Wizards Unite Discord was one of the first ones to come up with an idea. We sort of tested it together and it seemed to work. So... And I pushed it out on various social medias. So yes, hopefully that's made most of it. If you get the restart prompt, force close the game and restart the game. Don't press the restart button. You've got a chance of getting back in. As for the event itself, what my thoughts are, you just need to hang on a bit. I'll get to that in a second. Second part of the news is the end is nigh. Yes, the clarity is finally going to end at the end of January. This was rather a shock. Kind of came out of nowhere. It's kind of like... It kind of sounds dramatic, but it's kind of like hearing like bad news about a friend. Don't know why it was so traumatic. Was not quite expecting it to be. I mean, we could see the signs it was kind of coming. For one, the voice actors were never hired back doing any more voices work. Faces, the community manager, was never actually replaced properly. Development was so slow that it seemed they didn't have any full-time development work going on. Features and events were all rushed, unfinished. As hey, every event has at least had a bug in it. New features such as Adversaries in the 1920s seem to be trying to force you to spend money when people were actually boycotting the game because it wasn't stable. There seemed to be some sort of miscommunication there. We're not giving you money because the game's unstable, not because you don't want to give you money. But anyway, that never seemed to get through to them. So I kind of in another way, I kind of wanted the story to wrap up because it was dragging and dragging and dragging. Because there wasn't much meat to the story. It was kind of following the main storyline. You're following the main story of the Calamity, but there were no real decent sub-stories like to get you through, say, month on month or quarter on quarter. You know, a bit like the Chamber of Secrets. You know, if you're defeating the Chamber of Secrets, the big story is Harry has to defeat Voldemort, right? Which has to take the 7 movies, books. But it was kind of like each movie or each book was a major story in itself. There wasn't that kind of book element to it, so it was felt really quite drawn out. So I'm kind of glad they didn't try and drag it out for 6 or 7 years in that kind of respect. Some mechanics could have been much more fun, such as the mysterious notes. We got the mysterious notes during part 2. Like, if we had the mysterious notes at the end of part 1, but had them encoded in this like code that Penelope and Grimm used, we could actually spend the time between the events decoding the mysterious note in order to give some clues to the next storyline which is coming up, which would be kind of fun thing to do, kind of like an Ingressy type thing. But anyway, we didn't get that. I've also been invited to a meetup on Platform 9 3/4, the proper Platform 9 3/4, not the fake American one, in December, for some like proper Fortress sessions around there. I'm gonna bring the camera. Hopefully I can film. Hopefully everyone's not too shy. But I'll bring the cameras along as well. Try and get a final hurrah from the official Platform 9 3/4 in London. It's kind of something I want to do. I want to do a lot of since the event since the game started. But the end of the world ended, so there was no transport or anything, and not willing to put my family at risk just to get some footage for a game. Which I'd really like to do. Can't really justify it. So what kind of hit me the most is obviously what happened to all the friendships we built up between us and other WooTubers. I hope you'll stick around for what's coming up. I know if you sent me messages to say you will, which is very nice. And hopefully you'll be able to trust another game again once we've got all through this one. As for this channel, we'll be covering Harry Potter Magic Awakened is probably the most likely one to come next, because they have their servers announced for North America and EU. Funny enough, it's the same data center for North America and EU, so in theory you should be able to talk to each other across the pond. And of course there's Hogwarts Legacy when it finally comes out. I'll try and cover that on PC, PC Master Race. That covers mobile and sort of PC console games. Witchbrook was another one I wanted to cover, but after chatting with the development team over there, we will not be seeing that in 2022. So we have to wait a while for that one. That's kind of a pixel art type game. Magic Awakened, it has some social features. I think if you go into the Great Hall, you can talk to other players. And it also has events as well, where everyone plays at the same time, which is cool. And that's my 2 main tick boxes for having them on my YouTube channel. Sounds good to me. Also, the artistry in that looks amazing. I know some people have been covering it in advance with all the Chinese language all over it, but I really want to kind of enjoy in its fullness in English, just so we can appreciate everything about it. The artistry is absolutely amazing in that game. Probably could do some Witcher videos to pass the time, on and off. Depends on when Magic Awakens comes out, I guess. If it comes out pretty quickly, then, well, probably not going to have time to do Witcher videos. And if it's going to drag on past January, then definitely we'll have time to do it. So, see how we go. So, now on to event reviews. So our first event review is Birthday Day Part 2. Well, what a storyline that was. So Constance is the leader of the Unforgivable. I have read the story for Constance's Lament, which is the next brilliant event. We couldn't say the name of the event because it would have been a bit of a spoiler, wouldn't it? Anyway, that story is full of twists and turns. Things aren't quite clear-cut as they would seem, and that's what I'm going to say. You have to tune in for my spoiler video or check out Taskforce Times.news once we get the last little bit that connects the dialogue that people said to who said what bits of the dialogue they are, because it doesn't tie up until you get the second file. as for the game experience, we got trolled. Well and truly trolled by 2.9 breaking the event. For some people, they were kind of trolled by the update, and actual trolls, real trolls, which were kind of hard to come by. They weren't on the map very often now, were they? Well, at least not when you wanted them. So I think this video sums it up. So other than that, it was super generous with the rewards, that is for sure. And now we know why, because the game is ending. I did check with Lola, and that was the reason why the gold was so generous. That's because the game is ending. Which is just as well, given the lethal event. Lethal adversaries require a lot of potions, but they are so generous that you can just buy the potions, pretty much. If you've got the ingredients, it lightens up the load a bit. But yeah, you can pretty much buy the potions that you need with the rewards that you get, so not so bad. Which brings us on nicely to the Barty Crouch JR lethal adversary event. Well, I intended to vlog this one. But after the event started late because, well, it didn't start, and then the crashing out, I kind of just rage quit. I went home. Yeah, that was the problem. Once we found the workaround, I pushed through with the event. It was hard work because you had to work around the bugs. But it was fun to have a challenge rather than the mindless kind of grind type stuff. The end of times, as I call it, boost to rewards really helped. I would like to actually see what those rewards were intended to be. Because if it was rubbish, then it was definitely a pay-to-win situation with all those potions requirements. Again, further emphasising what I was talking about earlier. So now, coming up this week. Right. Apparently, we have the Umbridge lethal adversary event. Of course, nothing's actually officially been announced. Lola did say, with all the ping-ponging of how long the event was actually going to last, that things were going to resume back to their normal timetable. Never actually told us what the actual timetable was. So, I guess we'll find out today at some point. So technically, according to Plotter 101, it's 12th to the 15th, 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. UTC. So that means we can get some breathing space to brew potions during the week before that starts, because it's not going to start right away. So we've got a few days to brew potions and stuff. Probably collect lots of snowdrops. So I desperately need snowdrops and brew those potent extremos. I did kind of see this coming. I did actually brew like 20 odd potent extremos before the event even started. And I had to brew a lot more, and a gold cauldron as well. So yeah, I've hammered on potion stock and ingredient stock. But maybe Niantic can use this time to possibly borrow a developer, which they probably don't have anymore, to fix those bugs in lethal adversaries. You can check out Taskforce Times.news if you want to see some of the tentative events, possibly calendar thing going on. I'm expecting them to put out something properly very soon. So keep an eye on your Taskforce Times.news. Check out the front page for that list of when the events are. The initial dates were posted by Plotter 101, but I think they were data mined dates, so we have to be really careful with those. They may not happen. I'm just going to wait for the official announcement before I commit. So check out my Twitter as well, at the Zealman. So, we survived another event. We're going to beat the calamity. And we've got lots of new games to look forward to. So, stick around, because safely say the WooTubers are all friends for life. So, we'll all be doing collabs in the future. Anyway, regardless of what's going to happen. So, till next time, brush up in your spells, get your runs ready, visit tonight.